good morning to you. Dawgs on the Run. What is it? November 9th, 2015. And we are live at 7:32. We're a couple minutes late. We had some issues going on. He's Pierre Woods. I'm Andy Baskin. We always bring in our good friend, Kenny Rhoda, who is standing by. Hi, good morning to you, Kenny. How are you?
Morning, fellas. How are we on this chilly, cold, what is this, Monday morning? Yeah, we do Monday. I thought it might have been Friday, but thank God we didn't have to endure the Browns over the weekend. Got it out of the way on Thursday night. But yeah, I'm kind of ready to go. You know what? I'm just going to do the same thing I've been doing all season long here on Dawgs on the Run, and we'll probably get the same result.
It was kind of nice to have yesterday off, was it? Let's just start right there. Wasn't it nice? I realized that there's yard work to be done. There was hockey coaching that I could do yesterday. I had all kinds of stuff.
I was watching other games.
You watched all kinds of other games?
Yeah.
I dipped in about 3 or 4 different games. I was locked more into the Cavs game yesterday than I was anything else.
I watched Snoop Dogg on Instagram.
Oh, yeah?
And he was cheering that Big Ben got hurt. Because he was Pittsburgh.
Right.
Well, he was mad. But Warren G was happy. Warren G was happy that Big Ben got hurt because he thought the Raiders were going to win.
Kenny, what'd you do yesterday?
My girlfriend and I, we went to the Cavs game. I went as a fan, so I got to sit up in the stand. And the one game I go to, Andy, all year as a fan, to sit up in the stands. And you know that old lady perfume that old ladies wear for some reason? I don't know why. They think it smells good, and they put it on. They take a shower, a bath, and then an extra spritz or two afterwards. Yeah. I had the worst headache after the Cavs game yesterday. My girlfriend, too. We gobbled up some the Tylenol or ibuprofen to try and get rid. So I'm fine. It's just coming out of it smelled worse. It stunk worse than the Browns, if you can imagine. That's how bad that perfume was yesterday.
Wow, that's bad. You know what? I had one of those things this morning, too, where I ran out of shaving cream like I normally have all this other. I have pretty good shaving cream. And I had one little canister, and I have one here, too. Travel size Barbasol, right?
Nice.
And you've hit rock bottom, and then all of a sudden I'm just coming to work. I'm like, man, I smell like my dad. It's nasty.
Did you splash on some high karate aftershave afterwards too?
No, Brute
by Fabergé, yeah.
By Fabergé.
Eddie Murphy.
All right, let's also welcome in Eric, the referee, this morning. Hi, Eric. How are you?
Good morning, Eric.
I'm very well rested after no Sunday game.
Yeah, you took last week off, too. What'd you do with your week off?
I watched real football teams play. Ohio State. Michigan. Hey, you guys if you have over a 500 record, I'll give you a real football team.
Well, you get to go to a bowl game if you're over 500. So
True.
6 wins.
Are the Browns in the toilet bowl this year? Because they should have for the worst teams. I think they might be the worst team in the AFC.
Okay, so let me throw this out. This is a bad question. My 7-year-old son asked me, could Ohio State beat the Browns, Dad?
No.
And I said no. I said no. It was hard, though. I had to think about it for about a fraction of a second.
Are you serious?
It'd be close, but no, I don't think they can beat the Browns.
How about this? Do you think they could keep it within a one-score game?
Yes.
You do? I don't.
Maybe 2.
Oh, come on. I think the Browns would win
Maybe
by 35.
2. Maybe 2. No, I'm talking about, man, we're pretty horrible.
We're bad, but
Bosa against Joe Thomas?
I take Bosa.
Exactly.
Come on, Joe Thomas stinks this year, man. Let's be honest. Joe Thomas blows. He's living off his reputation. His agents, trying to cover things up and all that. He's not as good as everybody's, been. I've said that he lost a step last year, and we're seeing more and more of it this year. Who'd you rather have, Joey Bosa, Adolphus Washington, or anybody on that front line right now for the Browns?
So how close of a game do you think it would be, Ohio State versus the Browns? We've already gone off the deep end.
Yeah, it would be a 2-touchdown game. Yeah, 2-touchdown game.
How many? Last question, then we'll move on. Ezekiel Elliott, could the Browns keep him under 100 yards?
No.
They ain't kept nobody on 100 yards, man. No.
I see that.
No. He may get 2. He gonna be fired up talking about let me eat.
And you get to see Zeke's physique, probably, right? I don't think the NFL would ban him from wearing a crop top, would they? Is that a rules violation? Would Felix Wright come down on you?
Probably.
You think so?
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, they fired.
They
fined Cameron Haywood for wearing iron head on his eye black.
Yeah, but that's a little bit different than, if you've got a jersey that's too small.
Everybody's got to wear the same uniform.
Is that good or bad?
It's good. It's a team thing. That's one thing I learned in New England. It's a team thing.
It's a team thing.
No one man is bigger than a team.
Kenny, I'll come back to you in 1 second. I saw George was hanging out on Skype. Oh, there he is. Let's go to Skype 1. George, how are you this morning?
We're doing okay here. I'm just surprised we didn't have a Sunday game, that's all.
You're surprised we knew the schedule was out months ago.
The schedule maker. I know that NFL and their cash flow with Thursday night games. Pierre, I got a question for you.
What's that?
Were you ever provoked to stick your finger in an opponent's eye like Talib did yesterday during that Denver Colts game?
No, but another Denver player did that to me as well. And he tore his ACL this past year. Ryan Clady, he stuck his eye, his whole thumb. He tried to gouge my eye out, and he pissed me the hell off.
I bet he did. One other thing.
Hang on a second. Are the Broncos a dirty team?
Some players.
Just some players. You're not going to say the whole team?
Yeah, not the whole team. Some players are.
Now, who do they get that from? Do they get that from the coach, do you think, or is that just them going off the deep end?
No, that guy, he just tried to gouge my eye out, and I had got a visor, and every time Jay Cutler tried to throw the ball, he was getting hit every single time I was trying to kill
That's a
him.
good way to take out your revenge. Hit the SOB.
I don't get mad, I get even.
There you go.
That's right.
Check the scoreboard.
Now, I know the biggest worry is Roethlisberger's foot now. Does that mean we have maybe a little bigger of a chance trying to compete with the Stellars?
We were talking about that going in. I want to hear Kenny's reaction on this, too. Go ahead.
21-17 Cleveland Browns.
You like it 20?
Man, because I'm not doing 50 push-ups on air. I'm telling you that right now. I bet somebody 50 push-ups. We better win.
All right, Pierre, I just want to show this to you. I'm going to go to it early. Hey, can we go to, is that on the Twitter feed? This is just funny that you said that. What did you say the score was going to be?
21-17.
21-17. I said 24. I was going back. Isn't it crazy, though? We all think it's 21, 24, somewhere in 17 range there. Hey, Kenny, and George, stay on the line. Kenny, what's your thoughts on this game for coming up on Sunday?
Well, the Steelers are playing right now with the belief that they can win no matter who's at quarterback. It's a mindset. It's a stability factor that they feel that their system, it's in place, next guy up. They still have a running back who's better than anybody that the Browns have in D'Angelo Williams. He ran for $170 and got me 39 fantasy points yesterday. They have the best receiver, in my opinion, in all of the National Football League, in Antonio Brown. Their defense is as good as, if not better, than the Cleveland Browns. And the Browns are, well, they're just the Browns. And until they do it on the field, I don't know how you guys can pick them to win on the road against the Pittsburgh Steelers, a team, whether Big Ben's play or not, they always have trouble playing against.
All right, I agree with everything you just said, and I've been thinking about all those things too. It's the Big Ben factor that kind of gives me a little bit of hope that the Browns can win.
I have faith.
And because everything else is so screwed up, Kenny, at some point they've got to fall over and win. The problem is that the waters coming up from the three rivers that are so close to that stadium seem to affect everything Cleveland ever does whenever they walk into that area, with the exception of Bernie Kosar. Winning there is just impossible. It's impossible.
Well, I have it a one-score game. With Big Ben, it's a two-score game. Steelers win going away. Yeah. But there is a chance, with Landry Jones or Michael Vick playing, that the Browns could stay in it and pull the shocking upset, but I'm still taking the Steelers.
If Big Ben was playing, there's no way the Browns win.
Right.
No.
Then I have to agree that, Pittsburgh will win. But Antonio Brown, on the other hand, 17 receptions, 290-some yards, right? Dwayne Bowe, we wish that he had those numbers. And that's the one season. That's crazy, right?
I don't know. 3 grabs this past week. He's trending upward. He's trending upward. 3 catches this past week for Dwayne Bowe.
Wow.
Let's see.
Let me finish up with George. I'll come back.
Real quick math. If he gets 30 yards a game for the rest of the year, there's Browns have 7 games left.
Yeah.
He still would not equate for what Antonio Brown had last game.
That's great. George, go ahead. Let's finish up your phone call.
Okay. I felt that Johnny Manziel, considering, played one great, well, not great, but decent half, and the Browns imploded. Oh, God, in the second half, that was fucking pathetic. So let's just move on. It's a pass-fail league, and again, as Kenny Roto would say, we failed. So on to Pittsburgh, and then we got another week off, and then we got to wait till Monday night? for another game?
Why are you bitching about these? Why are you complaining about these national televised games? Why is that a big deal?
doesn't want the Browns
I'm
to
not
get embarrassed
complaining about
in prime
nationally
time.
televised games. I'm not complaining at all. It's just a long layoff, and my friend Snowy and I just aren't used to it. We're just used to that Sunday game, and then Monday morning we can bitch about it and moan. And even, well, with the win, we can be excited and like the Cavaliers, they're winning and it's great. And Ohio State, they're winning and it's great. Michigan is winning. But their little brother, Michigan State, I think there was an upset over the weekend. So now that Ohio State-Michigan game, that team up north comes a little more meaningful there. So anything's possible.
George,
Who knows?
What did you do yesterday with the Browns off? I'm just curious. What did you and Snowy do?
Well, like I said, I watched the Cavs game. I enjoyed the Cavs game, but I also watched the end of the Denver game, and I caught Talib acting like an ass and poking at one dude's eye out for no fucking reason. So I hope he gets a 2-game suspension.
George, if the Browns gave you the opportunity to walk in the locker room before Sunday's game in Pittsburgh, what would you say to them? Give me some kind of rah-rah, fire us up speech.
Can't take Snowy neither.
No, you can't.
Oh, bullshit. Snowy's coming with me.
Oh, my
Because this is the way the Browns are playing, like stiffs. And I'll say, take a look at this fucking Snowy. This is stiff. Now you get the fuck out there and execute. And if you don't execute, you're going to get your ass kicked.
And they're going to laugh at you.
Well, let them laugh at me. I don't give a flying fuck. I'm there to coach a team. I'm not there for, kudos or anything like that. That's my job. That would be my job, to coach a team. Oh, and I can use free tickets here, too. So I'd rather be in the press box anyway.
Why? I'd rather have you coach the team. Well,
No. I used to be a sports writer back when I was in high school. I love writing.
George, what was the first thing you would do if you walked in that locker room? What's the first change you would make? Give me a change.
First change?
Yeah, give me a change. Make this team better.
I would let Manziel play like Fran Tarkington. You put him to his strengths. You don't go at halftime and say, well, he did some good things in rolling out, but we want to keep him in the pocket. Don't give the other team ammunition. Go with your strength. Oh, yeah, and I'd like to see Dwayne Bowe catch more than 3 passes. That would be amazing.
All right, George. I want you to have a fantastic week. We will talk to you again next week.
All right, you too, guys. Thanks a
Have a
lot.
good one, George.
Thank you.
All right.
Let's go back to Kenny. Kenny, what did you think of the philosophy of bringing Snowy into the locker room, trying to get those guys fired up?
I would bring in Fat Bastard is who I would bring in. See, I got Fat Bastard from the Austin Powers movies. That's who I would bring. He talks too. You ready? See if you can hear this. Here we go. Ready?
I got a crap on deck that could choke a donkey.
Okay, that's one thing that he says.
Yes, sir.
I bring in Fat Bastard and see
Taco had broken egg.
he vibrates too.
I'll tell you what, I bet Fat Bastard could block better than an offensive line can.
You know what? These are the size of linemen that the Browns need, about the size of Fat Bastard from Austin Powers and everything. So I'd counter Snowy with Fat Bastard right here and see if the Browns would react maybe to the sumo wrestler looking dude.
I'll take Fat Bastard any day.
Hey, I want to get into real topics here in a second. Who's on Skype 1?
I got a crap on
Richard
deck
Miller
that could
from
choke a
the
donkey.
Cincinnati Browns backers down in Cincy.
Richard Miller from the Cincinnati Browns backers. Let's go to Skype 1. Hi, Richard. How are you?
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Great. Hey, thanks for joining us this morning. We appreciate it. Where
Pleased
are
to be
you
here.
at? Are you at a library right now at work? Where are you?
I'm actually in my office at the University of Cincinnati.
Oh, that's awesome. Very, very nice. Tell us a little bit.
9 o'clock class today.
So what? Oh, we got to get you moving here. Oh no, you got.
Oh,
plenty of time.
no, we got plenty of time.
So wait, is it true if you're 10 minutes late and you don't make it in there, the kids can leave?
That's what they think, but the bottom line is class starts when the professor shows up, so that's how it works. So,
Tell me about your Browns backers group. Where do you guys get together? How many folks are in that group?
well, we've got almost 200 members. We get together at the Lucky Dog Grill, which is at 42 and Tylersville. The owner James, we've been there for a long time, and he treats us really well. And even with the team having a tough year, if you don't get there early, you're not going to find a seat. So we fill the place up.
So are you originally from Cleveland? Are you a longtime Browns fan? Give me your love for the Browns.
I grew up on the west side and then lived in Parma, went to Cleveland State, and then journeyed off to Northwestern and then ended up here because that's where the job is.
Richard, let's go through some of the questions that I think Browns fans are talking about this morning. All right, first of all, if Josh McCown is healthy next week, should he start or should Johnny Manziel start against the Steelers?
Oh, I think that you start McCown. I think Johnny looked good last week, but he needs some more time. Also, too, I think the offense is kind of built around McCown, and sometimes you got to play in that direction. Also, I think the mistake we made last year was Pettin wouldn't come out and say, Hoyer's my guy, and every time Hoyer heard those footsteps, he had a bad game. I think what the Bengals have done that the Browns have not is they made a decision years ago. They're sticking with what they got. And, good or bad, Andy Dalton starts. And we've seen the effect of, changing our mind every other week, for the last 16 years.
What was the general feeling? Was the feeling to play Manziel moving forward from your group, or is this just yours on your own? What was the feeling?
I think it goes both ways. I think that there are people in our group that really like Johnny Manziel and people that really don't. It's like, Browns fans all over the place. Until somebody steps on the field and wins consistently, there's going to be do this, do that.
I don't know. I think it'd be tough living in Cincinnati right now, especially the Bengals are, as a Browns fan, I think it would be tough down there right now. So I give you a lot of credit for sticking it out. Any other thoughts on the Browns before we let you go?
Just looking forward to a game in Pittsburgh, and I hope that what the Browns do is they quit changing things every other week. And, I'm not a great Pettin fan, but, I think if we change coaches again this year, we're just going to be 3-13 again next year. So they need to do what some other teams have done and pick a way and just keep going that way and quit changing things all the time.
Outstanding, Richard. One more time, folks want to get a hold of you, want to go hang out with you guys to watch the Browns game.
We are at the Lucky Dog Grill. It is at the corner of 42 and Tylersville in Mason, Ohio.
All right, Richard, thank you very much. I hope those students are on time this morning. Hey, what do you teach, by the way?
I teach structural engineering, and this morning's 9 o'clock class is the exciting subject of reinforced concrete design.
Oh, very nice.
That's what we need to do, build a wall against D'Angelo Williams.
We're going to have to.
Well, we can help you with that. We've got some super concrete that'll do the job.
Very nice. Richard, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
All right. 216-431-3820 if you want to hop on in on the phone lines. I do have one phone line open right now if you want to call in. We'll get to the phones at some point, and Skype has been on fire this morning. What were you going to say there, Eric the referee? Nothing?
I was thanking our guests for coming on.
Oh, that was nice of you. I saw you peek your head over. All right, let's bring Kenny back in here for a second. Kenny, as we move forward, what are you looking forward to on this team for the rest of the season? What do you want to see?
All the young guys play. They're out of the playoffs. They're terrible, so you need to evaluate the young guys, give them playing time, see what they can do. I think Josh McCown is going to start if he's healthy, but I'd want to see Johnny Manziel for a 4 or 5 game stretch to give him the reps in practice each and every week with the ones, to let him play an entire game, not looking over his shoulder, wondering if he's going to come out or if he's going to get pulled in the middle of the game or after 2 games. You got to let these young guys play and see what you have. The last 2 drafts have not been good for Ray Farmer and the Cleveland Browns, so you need to evaluate those young guys, even though they've played poorly to this point, as to A, do you have any cornerstone players? B, do you have any starters out of that group? C, do you have any backups out of that group? Or D, which ones you want to get rid of? And so I'm playing all the young guys. I'm throwing, you play to win, obviously. Hello, you play to win the game. But in the Browns' case, that isn't the case each and every year. They're 2-7. They're spiraling downwards. It's chaos in Cleveland. Ray Farmer's horrible. Mike Pettin's questionable. They've been outscored 55-3 the last 3 games in the second half. That's when you make halftime adjustments at halftime, and it doesn't look like Mike Pettin, Jim O'Neill, Chris Tabor, or anybody Flip are making any adjustments. So play the young guys and see what you have for next year.
Pierre, why does this keep happening to the Browns in the second half? Why does it seem like they're getting outcoached in the second half every week now?
I don't think they go through any type of situational football.
All right, so just walk me through. What happens in the Patriots locker room at halftime?
At halftime, we all get together, defense get together, offense get together, special team guys, if there's something wrong with the special team coach, and we go through the different things that happen out there in the first half. Big plays or plays over 10 yards, P and 10, meaning the start of a series or whatever. And then we all come together as a team. And Bill will say what he has to say, and which is not much. He'll be like, hey, we got to go out here and play as a team, put the team first, believe in one another, and let's go get this win.
But let's just say from a defensive standpoint where you're not attacking a quarterback enough. I mean, is it said we are going to blitz more often in the second half, or we're going to back off in the secondary, or we're going to do this or that? Is that actually said, or is that just implemented as the game goes
that's
out?
That's definitely said.
Okay.
Bill will be like, hey, let's go get this quarterback. Let's go. We got to rush. We need more pass rush. And if you don't do it, I'll get somebody else that will do it. And that's just the way it goes, the next man up. Like
So
Kenny
what do
said.
you think's happening in the Browns locker room at halftime? I'm serious. Go ahead. Silence. Nothing.
That's it, nothing.
No one's saying anything at halftime.
I
So
think we
question
got-
for you, Pierre. How much onus do you put on the coaches for the halftime adjustments? Is
All of it. All of it
coaching?
goes on the coaches and the halftime adjustments. Because in the first half, you got guys up in the booth. You have the coaches on the field. They see everything. They even got those the iPads and everything.
Right.
So you got to make some type of adjustments going into the second half. Like, this is what we need to do. We got to execute. If we don't execute, then we're in a lot of trouble. We have to execute. Like he's telling Johnny to stay in the pocket. That's not Johnny's game. I'm off top. I'm saying it. He can't see over the line.
But can you win? And let me bring Kenny back in on this too. This is like a philosophical struggle for Johnny Manziel. We all see it. You talk about it every week. I agree with you. I don't think he's tall enough to see over the line. He has got to bootleg out, right,
That's
or do
his
something
game.
to help him find the lanes. And we all see it. But every time, like I talked to Boomer Esiason last week. Phil Simms said it during the broadcast. You're not going. They both thought that you go back to Mccown next week, and they
Exactly.
don't believe that you can win in the NFL with a scrambling quarterback.
You can't. It's hard. It's hard to do. To get outside the pocket, he take risks of getting hit every time. If I was Cincinnati, I'm sending my 4 guys and 2 outside guys. I'm going to have 1 linebacker in the middle who's going to play, period. That way we keep him inside the pocket. He can't roll out. If he rolling out, you see he makes plays when he rolls out. But when he's behind the line of scrimmage and inside the pocket, he doesn't make as many plays. He can't see over the line. It's hard for him. If anything, the defensive lineman come up, put their hands up, mirror his right arm, and knock the ball down.
Kenny, your thoughts?
He's effective when he's outside the pocket. That's his game. They knew that when they drafted him. They thought they could change him. A lot of coaches think they can make a player better or change a player. We're seeing that you can't. So if you're going to play Manziel, you need to design some rollouts to the right, to the left before the rush comes, instead of waiting for him to have to scramble and make a play because the defense breaks down. You have to set up your blocking scheme to sucker guys inside so Johnny can roll to the outside with the way you block on the offensive line, because I agree with Pierre. He stays in the pocket. You can't see over the line. He's going to have trouble.
Can you win long-term with a quarterback like that?
No, you cannot. And that's why I said when they drafted him, it was a wasted draft pick. I wanted Derek Carr. Teddy Bridgewater was second on my list. Johnny Manziel, I think, was 4th on my list. Garoppolo was ahead of him. So that goes back to Ray Farmer, Jimmy Haslam, the bum on the street, whoever picked Johnny Manziel.
Call me crazy question.
Crazy
Are we seeing
question.
the difference between a great play caller that we had last year that knew how to fit an offense behind Brian Hoyer,
Kyle Shanahan?
Kyle Shanahan,
Yeah.
and a guy in John DeFilippo who's still kind of learning his ways. He's new to the offensive coordinator.
They're all new.
Is that why he hasn't really designed a system that fits for both Manziel and McCown?
Well, you can't, though. I think they're 2 different quarterbacks. You tell me if I'm wrong. You got 2 different quarterbacks with 2 different styles. You got to, if you're going to sink your resources into somebody, you better sink your resources into the guy you think's going to start.
Right. And what's his Josh?
Yeah.
That's the reason why Mike Pettin kept saying, we need a guy that's going to stay in the pocket. Josh stays in the pocket. He gets outside the pocket when he needs to. If you're going to have Johnny Manziel roll out and get outside the pocket all the time, you got to have routes for Andrew Hawkins and Gabriel where they do pivot routes. They go down, they break that dog on linebacker down, they pivot back out, and the ball's coming right then and there. Everything's short and sweet. You get long routes when stuff breaks down. Make sure the receivers keep running, get downfield, get open. He can get the ball to him, but Johnny just is not big enough to see over the line.
Kenny?
I'm in total agreement with Pierre. And it goes back. We were talking about halftime adjustments, and I think they do a terrible job right now. And I had Jimmy Donovan on my show, the voice of the Browns, and we both agreed. Maybe it's not so much the halftime adjustment. It's just that they don't have the talent, guys. They're not a very talented football team. How many of these guys would start on a team right now that is a playoff contending team, or even a team that isn't a playoff contending team? You go up and down the roster, and I don't know how many of these guys on offense and defense combined would be starters anywhere else but with the Cleveland Browns. So it comes back to, I think, inexperienced coaches. In Filippo, he's a first-year offensive coordinator. O'Neal is a second-year defensive coordinator. Mike Pettine's a second-year head coach. And remember, Pettine was what, the fourth or fifth choice for this team? So again, you go back, you look at the guys they've hired to run this team. They were all first-time head coaches in the National Football League, from Shermer to Chud to Mike Pettine. So lack of coaching because maybe he's not a good enough coach, and especially lack of talent because of the draft picks and the free agent. I mean, the top two free agent offensive picks by Ray Farmer the last 2 years, Ben Tate and Dwayne Bowe. Enough said.
Mangini was the only guy with any experience. Do you agree with that line about guys on this team that couldn't play anywhere else?
I don't agree totally, but I would say this. Detroit has a damn good team, but they got a horrible record right now. Right. They just fired a GM and the president up there. The same with us. Now, if you go and fire these guys, if you don't have the trust of the front office, you're not going to have the trust of the players in the locker room. Who's that? Paul. He's not getting any type of pressure. He got 1.5 sacks right now.
Paul Kruger.
Yeah, because they had him dropping and everything like that. That's not his game.
Right.
You want me going to do that. Now, Campbell, number 30, the rookie, he's a tackling machine. I like that guy.
Right.
I like him a lot. He's out there tackling. He's making all types of plays. But if you wanted to trade a team, I'll trade Detroit for Cleveland.
All right, hey, Eric, where are we going to next? Skype one?
Skype one, we're going to go across the pond.
Nice.
To Norman Whitlock from the
British Norman. Bulldogs. Hey, Norman, how are you?
Hey, great, guys. Nice speaking with you.
Nice to speak with you. Now, you put a picture of your mom up there next to your dad. Is that right?
Yeah, that's a little story I've got to tell you there. I've got the flag flying at half mast. I don't know if you recognise that. I normally have it up on the wall, but I'm not gonna fly it again on the wall there until the Browns win a game. That might not be any time soon. We're just dreadful.
All right, if they draft a quarterback that you like, will you fly it then?
Yeah, if there's one to draft, then yeah, I'll fly it. You know, but if they're going to go quarterback, they've got to go all in for someone. They've got to really like the guy enough to. I mean, let's face it, we're going to be picking probably 3 or 4 in the draft next year. So if there's a quarterback there, we should go for him. But go all in. But the really sad thing, if you really want to know the story, I could actually be an American citizen right now, probably living in the Cincinnati area, and thus obviously being a Bengals fan. And I'll tell you why briefly, if I may. It's because Andy, you were asking last week about the photo of my dad.
Yeah.
There we go. That British officer in the army. Well, he met my mum, who was a young German, actually. She was a young teenager during the war years, so she was in the Nazi era, doing her bit for Volk, Führer and Fatherland at the time, and so she knows all about the horrors of war. She was bombed by you guys during the day and by my dad's side during the night, so she's seen a lot of horror. But the really interesting thing, actually, is that her father was a young German guy, obviously, and he had a ticket to get on a boat from Hamburg to sail to America and join his older brother, who had a butchery business in Cincinnati, and his brother needed help. So he asked my mum's dad to come out and join him. He had a ticket to sail on the 4th of August 1914, and unfortunately for him, on the 1st of August 1914, war broke out. And he got called up immediately into the German army. So that's my mum's dad, as a 18-year-old German cavalryman who ended up fighting in all 4 years on the Russian front and the Western front, suffered some horrible injuries but miraculously survived.
Wow.
But had it not been for war breaking out, 3 days later he would have sailed for America. Been living in Cincinnati. My mum would have obviously been born in Cincinnati. I would have been born in Cincinnati and probably be a Bengals fan and loving it right now.
Wait, let me help you. You probably would have been a Browns fan, Norman, because the Bengals didn't come around till 68? First year was 68? So
Yeah.
you would have been good to go. You would have been a Browns fan.
Well,
70 or 68. What
I'm
was
stuck with the
Bengals
Browns.
this year?
I am stuck with the.
Well, I just want to make sure you know you probably would have been a Browns fan. We'll make you feel better because it's interesting when you talk to a lot of people who are longtime Ohio State because they like Paul Brown. You know, he came up from Ohio State, went up to the Browns, and then ended up in Cincinnati. So maybe somewhere along the line. But how old are you?
I'm 55.
55. You probably would have been a Browns fan.
You'd have been a Browns fan.
So you can sleep easier knowing that.
Yeah, I mean, I came up I was in the Bernie Kosar, Webster Slaughter, Kevin Mack, Biner era. That was when I became a Browns fan. And we haven't been really that good since then, to be honest. I mean, how we can be this bad for this long. I mean, since our return in '99, it's statistically almost impossible for us to be this bad on all fronts, like from the owner to the front office to the players. They really need, I think, to next year in the draft, rather than getting cute and trade, going down and getting extra picks, which they'll probably blow anyway. They should, if there's an impact player at any position, they've got to start drafting impact players and then playing them from the get-go. That's the only way. At the moment, who would you build your team for next season? I mean, who could you build your squad around? There is no real impact player that any other side has to game plan for. Barnage maybe is coming on nicely, but really, no one really frightens anybody on the Cleveland Browns as if you're an opposing team. You just look at the Browns and say they're an average team, and they're not very good at that either. I wish they were average.
All right.
I said I was right.
The Cleveland Browns needs to hire some new scouts all around, in-house. Get rid of all the scouts that they have because they're terrible.
All right, let me I want to ask you the big burning question for the week. If Josh McCown is healthy, would you still start Johnny Manziel against the Steelers? What would you do?
I think, you start Johnny Manziel. Nothing against Josh McCown. I like Josh McCown. Love his attitude, love his demeanour, his toughness. And he's a great backup quarterback, a very serviceable backup quarterback. But we all know he's not going to be the future of the Browns. We need to know, Johnny's just got to get some game time and the reps, whether it's good or bad. I mean, if we lose out under him the rest of the season, so be it. But he needs to get reps. He needs to get game action, start getting comfortable with the game, and play to his strengths. As I say, he's a bit of a backyard sort of quarterback at the moment. He's not a pocket passer, and trying to force him into that at the moment is just ridiculous. But even if they want to do that, I think they should start him just to get in that game time experience. I love Josh McCown. Nothing against McCown. I think you just got to start looking to the future now because this season's done. It's over. We've got to realise that. Start looking to the future. Johnny Manziel is maybe the future, but we won't know unless we start playing him.
Norman, thank you so much. We love talking to you every week. If you want to keep calling in, we'd love to have you on every week. I think you do a great job. Thank you, Norman.
Right. Thanks a lot. Thanks, guys.
We'll talk to you soon. All right, hey, that's a great get for you, by the way, Risto. That might be one of the best things you've ever done.
You're welcome.
All right, Kenny, I know you're with us for most of the show today, so if you want to hop in on this, we have to bring Jackie Fernandez in. So, are you good with that?
Are you good with it?
Are we good with it? Kenny, we good with talking to Jackie for a second?
Yeah.
Do you have any questions for her before I start interrogating her?
For Jackie?
Yes.
Jackie, I'd love to know if Ohio State played Michigan today. Who would you be rooting for? Who would you pick to win if that game was today?
Well, even though I am wearing blue because it's a cool color because of the freezing temps here in Ohio, of course, inside my blood is red for the Vikings.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I'm trying to get a feel for who you are and what you're all about. So, okay, go ahead, Andy. You can
yeah,
proceed.
but you know what? The right answer would have been my blood is scarlet.
Whatever, scarlet red.
No.
Same.
Kenny?
No.
Close enough for me. No, that's okay.
There
She
we
can call
go.
whatever she
All
wants.
right, all right, Jackie, did you watch any football over the weekend? We'll start with this.
I didn't need to watch it because it was the only important game was last week.
Was Thursday?
Yep.
All right, I just want to make sure. Even did you didn't watch the Ohio State game?
No.
You
But
can say no. It's okay. It's not like the game was on News Channel 5 or anything.
I
No big
didn't
deal.
watch it, but
Or there was a post-game show.
I'm sad that Clemson took their #1 ranking.
Who
ACC.
is your? I mean, Ohio State doesn't have to be your team. You're not going to offend anybody. Do you have a college football team?
You know what? Not really, because I didn't go to a university that was really big into sports.
Okay, where'd you go?
I went to Hunter College in New York City, and
Okay.
also Cal State Northridge, so I went back and forth and finally transferred to New York City. But the point is, I didn't have that experience where you are really into college sports, so wherever city I go, I kind of adopt the team.
But Northridge has great baseball. I mean,
Do
they
they?
have really, really good baseball there. And you
Okay.
just didn't go to any of those games, though, did you?
No.
You didn't go to any Northridge games.
No.
It's not a big sports school at all, huh?
It is
They're a
not
Big
to me.
Sky school, aren't they? I think Northridge is in the Big Sky, aren't they?
Is it?
I don't know.
We
They're
definitely
one
know
double A
how to
football.
stay
Pretty
on
sure.
our
She was in the
feet.
city.
She was in the city?
Yeah.
How long did you go to Northridge for?
1 year, and then transferred to Hunter in New York.
All right. Should the Browns start Johnny Manziel or should they start Josh McCown next week?
I think they should start Johnny Manziel if he plays like he did in the first half.
I think you give us the good social beat of this team, like beyond the football. Like we'll sit here, Kenny and I and Pierre, we'll sit here and we talk about the hardcore football stuff, even the Eric the referee. I want to know what you think, though. I want the social issues when it comes to the Cleveland Browns. What do you think of the uniforms this year? Are you down with the new unis?
I'm down with the new unis. I think the brighter the orange, the closer to the W. You know what I'm saying? It's eye-catching. For a lot of Browns fans, you gotta just focus on some good stuff. What do you guys think about that new poll that said Browns fans are one of the top 5 drunkest fan bases in the NFL?
True.
True.
Yeah, it doesn't
that
surprise
true?
me. Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Well, you have to be drunk at some point to watch.
But
this
year
game,
in and
right?
year out, they sell out the whole stadium, and they root good. You know,
Who
when
was
it's a draw.
who was number one in the poll? I didn't see that. Who was number one? Do you remember?
Buffalo, the Bills.
Oh, Buffalo. Well,
But this was based on a breathalyzer app, so who knows what the real thing is for that. But it's interesting to think if we won that.
how did they do this? Did they ask people to?
Yeah.
How do you determine who's the drunkest? And do you want to be the drunkest team? Is that was the goal to win this event or not?
No, but if you're talking about the social pulse, I'm going to tell you, I hear a lot of Browns fans, they tell me they have to be inebriated in order to watch the game and go through the game.
Yeah,
No
that's
other
not-
reason to really go except to tailgate and drink right now, right? I mean,
That's
come on,
true.
let's be honest.
Well, that's how they roll at Northridge too. Same thing. I mean, no one's going to the football games there.
What's
unless
the
they-
nickname from Northridge?
Titans?
What was their nickname? Did they have a mascot?
I really don't know.
I think it's the Titans. You don't even know. Remember what was
No.
Hunter? What was
She
it?
was. I
Hunter?
told y'all she was in the
I don't-
city.
Honestly, I got to tell you, I was not paying attention to sports at all. I was hustling and
Fullerton's
working.
the Titans. Hang on a second. I got to remember this.
Yeah. I think Northridge was red, their colors, and Hunter was purple.
No, I got to look this
You're
up.
welcome. Knowledge
Hunter
learned.
was the purple people leaders. I'm thinking that.
No, they're not. Why can't I lost my network connection on top of everything? This is not a good day.
Hey,
The
The
so-
breathalyzer thing, did they like
Matadors.
Come on,
have
Andy.
Northridge
guys
Matadors?
from their poll stand outside the stadium so when the fans came out they asked them to take a breathalyzer and then took a poll on that? Is that how that worked?
Yes, that's how I think that worked.
Okay, all right. Well, the
Matadors
Browns
and
would
Big
definitely be
West.
up in the
I can't
top
believe it's so
5 if
big
that
city.
were the case, for sure. And they start at 6 a.m. some the night before, so that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
So, Jackie, just as we wrap things up with you here, because otherwise we're going to sit here all morning, because we love talking to you. What did the morning crew do this weekend? What great bars did you guys go to after you were hanging out on the roof of the Nines? Where did the morning crew go this weekend?
You know what? I really wish that there was truth in advertising.
It doesn't matter.
that
You
we
said
did
that last week. We don't believe that anyways. Keep going.
I honestly just cleaned my house this entire weekend.
I'm not buying that.
Okay,
from
so
it.
I did do something very cool, and I was going to tell you this. I've been
All right.
meaning to tell you this.
What'd you do?
So basically, I'll just put it like this. Okay, so I did this kidney fundraiser.
Oh, good.
And I met a former Browns alum who
Who'd you meet?
shall not be named.
Why?
But they told me, because
Yeah.
it was off the record,
Oh, okay.
and I'm a journalist.
Yeah, okay.
True to the word.
Sure.
True to the cloth of the
Yeah.
oath. He told me that he thinks the organization is really rough right now, and that the management is a thumbs down, and that they don't know what they're doing. And I said, do you think they're going to win? And he goes, no, they don't win. That's some juice right there, right? That's juicy?
No, that's what pretty much every Browns alum is saying right now. It's not- there's nothing really that's super special about that.
We
And
already
what
knew
else
that.
did Bernie say this weekend?
No, it was really good. It felt juicy when he was saying it. I went, oh,
Oh, I can't wait to go on Dogs on the Run. And he said, please don't use my name.
yeah.
Okay.
He said it's off the record.
Okay, well, that's good.
Are you guys excited for this next game coming up?
Of course, it's a Steelers game. You always can get excited for the Steelers game, even when the team stinks. You got
How
this.
about projections then for scores?
Well, you know
Say it
what?
right
Why
now.
don't you stick around a little bit later? We've already thrown them up, but if you
you
want to
did?
stick around for the next 11 minutes here, I know you'll
Okay.
go back to your
What is-
desk.
I want to get her prediction, too.
Yeah,
She
what-
needs
yeah,
to
what's
come
your-
up with a
you give us
score
your
to join us,
prediction.
guys.
Okay.
They're playing Pittsburgh, just so you know.
Yeah, I told you that.
Oh, okay, good. I wouldn't have known if you
Pay
had told me.
attention, Andy. She did tell you that.
Yeah.
Sorry, yes.
35-14.
35-14. Who's winning?
God.
Pittsburgh.
Oh my God.
35-14. Yeah, you may not be too far off.
Don't you think so? But I think they're going to have, hopefully this time, something doesn't happen in the locker room during halftime where they completely lose it and lose their momentum, but they come out the second half strong, not weak.
There
tell
you go.
I don't have a chance, and you know what? I'm gonna lose this bet, 50 push-ups, and I gotta do them.
Who are you
myself.
betting 50 push-ups?
Man, this guy across the street from my sister's house, man.
Oh.
How
Okay.
about we do that here and you do them,
Who?
Andy? Let's see whose
I can't
scores
do
are
5
closest.
push-ups. You think I can do 50 push-ups?
Come on.
Please.
God.
You need
I'm
to
in
go
a lot of
upstairs and get your
trouble.
biometric screening and get your flu shot. I got a flu shot today.
Thank you. Does it come with a little sticker?
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Did you really just kiss your bicep?
Strong.
Okay,
Stronger than the
Hawkster.
The
Browns.
gun show, baby. Watch
Oh,
out.
man. All right, well,
Okay,
we're
John
Bye,
Burgundy's
guys.
even
Jackie,
impressed by
thank
those
you.
guns.
Thank
Bye.
you. We always appreciate your time. Thank you. Words of wisdom. We don't just give her. She needs an open for her own segment or something. I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm getting,
it's going to be just her kissing her biceps in slow-mo over and
I'm
over again.
sure I'm getting killed on Twitter here. I want to
Let's
bring
bring in Matt Lodi because we're talking about the
she's
Steelers.
crushed me. My
Let's
big
bring in
fat
Matt
arch.
Lodi.
Let's do this, and I want to ask one more big question. You know, I'm going to ask this too because I want to hear what Matt Lodi has to say. Did anyone catch the fact, and I'm not sure, it was on some TV station between 18 and 20, that Bernie Kosar said this weekend that if you gave him 2 years, he could turn the franchise around. Do you agree or disagree that Bernie could turn it around?
Disagree.
Do I agree? I think that's...
Look at my face.
I
Look
think-
at
Hang on
my
one
face.
second. Let's go to Lodi first. Go ahead, Lodi.
Sorry, I was
That's all right.
going to say I think that's asking a lot. I think that this franchise inherently just does about everything wrong. And as much as I like Bernie, and I think Bernie is a great guy, and I think he can do a lot of good things with this organization, turning them around completely, I think is asking an awful lot. So I think that's reaching for the stars a little bit. I don't know what you guys think, but I
Kenny,
think
what do
that's just being a little bit too overzealous.
Kenny, what do you think of that? Do you think Bernie Kosar could turn this franchise around in 2 years?
Can he do any worse? Guys, seriously, could he do any worse than what's in place right now? Who would you rather have calling plays, John DeFilippo or Bernie Kosar? Who would you rather have working with quarterbacks right now, whoever's there now, or Bernie Kosar? Who would you rather have picking some talent, based on the eye as a former football player? The guys they have now in the scouting staff or Bernie Kosar? I'll take Bernie Kosar over the bums they've got right now in the front office, from
Put
Alex Shiner all
Kosar and
the
Jim
way on
Brown in
down.
charge.
Go ahead, Pierre. What do you got?
I mean, it's a tough one. Bernie, but I say Bernie and Jim because, you know, they both play here, and I think that they will evaluate talent a lot different than what our scouts are doing right now.
What do you, referee, Eric the referee, you want a piece of that?
No, I mean, Jim Brown a couple years ago, did he not say that Trent Richardson was going to be a bust? And look what happened. I mean, he was right on that. I mean, I know that's a one-time thing, but
No, it's not a one-time thing. It's just a thing that you got.
we got to change our scouting process because look at our first-round picks the last couple years. None of them have panned out, and it's
Well, Trent Richardson, he had a knee injury in high school. He went to see Dr. Andrews. He came back in college, had a little knee injury, went to see Dr. Andrews. Came to the Browns, had a knee injury, went to see Dr. Andrews. It's a pattern here. And for the Browns not to see it, and I know that they go back from when you in elementary to find out everything about you, to see what type of character you have.
Right.
That just shows that they really don't care about who they're picking or who they're drafting. It's about what that kid did right then and there, if he's good enough. But we knew Trent wasn't going to last. He was too small.
Yeah. All right, let me go through. I want to come back to this Bernie thing in a second. Yeah, what's the lowdown on the Steelers right now? And Roethlisberger's definitely going to be out for a couple weeks. Is that right, Matt Lodi, Steelers, Geb?
Yeah, there's no question. It's a mid-foot sprain. It looks like that for the second time this season that they've dodged a bullet with what's considered a season-ending injury, even though at this point this team is so incredibly banged up. I really, you have to give some credit to what this organization has been able to do, meaning the Steelers with all these guys that are hurt. Le'Veon Bell done for the year. They plugged D'Angelo Williams in yesterday. He goes over $150 and scores a couple times. Their center, Marquise Pouncey, done for basically the season at this point. They've done a good job on the offensive line. Injuries all across the board, and yet they've been able to survive. And, I know it doesn't mean very much in the scope of the NFL, but they wake up today as the 6th seed as far as the AFC is concerned. But to answer your original question, Andy, yeah, Ben is not going to play Sunday. It'll be Landry Jones, who, honestly, for as bad as that kid looked in the preseason, and didn't look so hot in his one start against Kansas City, has played pretty well in relief of Ben. Had the big play yesterday to Antonio Brown to get him into field goal range in the final seconds, and obviously played very well in the game against Arizona when he came in for Mike Vick. So it'll be Landry Jones, and it's interesting, as I tweeted out yesterday, who would have thought that if you look back 6-7 weeks ago or 5-6 weeks ago, you'd be talking about Johnny Manziel potentially against Landry Jones when these two teams meet. So we'll see how it goes on Sunday, but definitely Big Ben will be there on the sidelines in street clothes. He will not be in uniform.
Do the Browns have a chance on Sunday?
No, I don't think there's any question they have a chance. I mean, this is a Steelers team that's vulnerable. They've, had lapses on both sides of the football. Yet they've played pretty well at home. So I will say the Steelers can certainly beat the Browns without Ben Roethlisberger. But I'm certainly not willing to say that this is a slam dunk in any situation. If there's one game that Mike Pettin needs to get his team up for, it's this game, because you're in a situation, you're in a hostile environment. The Steelers will be banged up. They'll be without Big Ben. The one thing that if I'm a Browns fan or if I'm covering a team, obviously at this point scares me is that the Browns have not stopped the run all year. And the Steelers showed yesterday against a pretty good Raiders run defense, one that stopped the Browns, which everybody's done for the most part. But a Raiders run defense has been very good this year. The Steelers ran all over them yesterday. I know that, the numbers look crazy, 38-35. Steelers had over 500 yards of offense. It'll be interesting. I think if I'm the Browns, I try to obviously do whatever I can to keep the ball in my hands, because the more the Steelers have the ball, even with Landry Jones, I think the more dangerous that is, the way that the Browns defense has just been awful for the last pretty much the whole year, but it's certainly the last couple of weeks.
Hey, Matt, what's on SteelersGab.com right now?
We're talking right now, of course, about the injury. The latest article that'll be out here in the next half hour talks about, can the Steelers team overcome yet again another injury to Ben Roethlisberger? This is the second time this year this organization has had to play without him for what looks to be an extended amount of time. The early indication, by the way, is that the Steelers will play Sunday without him, of course, against the Browns, and then they will be on the bye. And then they go to Seattle. That's a huge game against the against the Legion of Boom there in Seattle. And supposedly they're going to try to get him back for that game. I'm already writing that I don't think he should play in that football game. Not necessarily because it's a Seattle defense that's been as good as it's been the last 2-3 years, but just because, I'd rather see Ben get a break. If this team could get to 6-4 without him on Sunday, give him another 2 weeks off. Let him get ready for key games against the Colts as well as the Bengals. So can this team survive yet again without Ben Roethlisberger? We'll have it up here on the site by 9 a.m.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
You too. SteelersGab.com. Kenny, let's bring you back in. Let's go around the horn. You had some questions for us at the beginning of the show that we did before Eric, the referee. Let's go through these questions.
All right, let me cue it up here. 1 second.
Oh, okay. Mr. I'm not ready here. 10 minutes left to go on the show.
All right,
I agree with Lodi. This is the Browns' best chance to beat the Steelers, because Roethlisberger should be healthy for that final game at home.
Yeah, I do think this. I mean, if they're going to have a chance to get a win, this is it. And which weird. Excuse me. You're actually playing well against the AFC North as far as getting wins. I would think that the Ravens game here, you're going to have a chance if you can go to Pittsburgh and win in Pittsburgh. It might be a little bit of smoke and mirrors, but I think the first step for this organization, even in a bad year, is have success against the North, and then that's at least something to grow on.
Oh, I agree. And McCown's the quarterback if he's healthy, because right now, Josh McCown, if he's healthy, he's the best quarterback on either team between the Steelers and the Browns. Even though he's a journeyman backup with a big-time losing record, he's still better than Landry Jones or Mike Vick or Johnny Manziel when he's healthy right now. But the question is, do you play him to try and get the win, or do you play Johnny to get experience to see what you have for next year? That's the debate they'll have over in Berea, if they have debates. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I'm sure that I know a couple radio shows they'll have that debate this week.
Yeah.
Too. All right, let's go, Eric, the referee. What do we got?
All right, first question for you guys. What is the biggest problem for the Browns right now?
I'll go first. I just said, and I think we're all on the same page there. I said losing the locker room because, I mean, it can become a very, very toxic place when you know you're not playing for anything, you're just trying to get some young guys some time, and then you've got older veterans that are just grumpy. You get bad habits from young guys. You get bad attitudes from young guys. So I think that they just need to keep things solid inside the locker room no matter what's happening. Can Mike Pettin do that? I don't know, because you're going to have the question of, is my GM gone? Is my head coach gone? They're all toxic things that happen inside a locker room, and then you're really looking at blowing things up. Pierre, what do you got?
I just feel like they have nothing to play for right now. They're not playing with any heart. They don't really show that they want to win. That offsides play last week was just like a killer. It was a stab in the heart, just stick a fork in them. They're about done right now.
What happens in the Patriots locker room if that happens?
Oh, Bill's going to give you some humble pie. You offsides in a big situation, key situation like that, third down, you can get off the field, you're going to get cursed so bad.
You don't want to go back to the locker room.
Hex to the no.
All right, Kenny?
Lack of talent goes back to Ray Farmer, or it goes back to Jimmy Haslam, who hired Ray Farmer. This team doesn't have talent. On offense, there's nobody, with the exception, I take that back, with the exception, and it was an emergence this year, of Gary Barnidge, who is maybe a threat to opposing defenses right now. On defense, really, Joe Hayden even looked susceptible even when he was healthy this year. Is there anybody on defense that, like I said, on good teams would start on D? I don't want any of the linebackers. Dante Whitner looks like he's on the back nine of his career. Actually, he looks like he's on about hole number 18. He's not playing well when he's healthy. So you look up and down this roster, it's a lack of talent. There are not playmakers on either side of the ball. The only playmaker you might have is Travis Benjamin on a punt return that really scares you if you're an opposing team studying for this Browns organization, this Browns franchise. So for me, it goes back to Ray Farmer and the lack of talent, and that goes back to their drafting as well as their free agent signings and the quarterback situation.
Eric, the referee.
We saw him with his first game action last week, but that was because the Browns were banged up at wide receiver. Will we see Dwayne Bowe on the field again this year?
Sure, why not?
I mean, yes, too.
You keep dropping passes, Taylor Gabriel. You keep and not running the right routes. If you're some of the other wide receivers, I would think at some point you're going to see him on the field. It may be in mop-up time, maybe in garbage time. If Ray Farmer, decides he wants to flex his muscles because he knows his job is at stake and he wants to prove that Mike Pettin was wrong and he was right, maybe he forces him to play. I expect to see him out there. Whether he'll do anything, who knows? But I expect to see him out there.
All right, I give a guy credit that hasn't played a whole season, that he had the opportunity to fight for a first down and did not quit on the one play where he got it. I know you're looking at me like I'm crazy because it's one play. But, you've got him. You might as well use him. You got guys that are hurt. I think that the opportunity is going to be back out there.
If Andrews Hawkins is healthy, he's off the protocol for the concussions, Dwayne Bowe ain't going to see the field again. Let's be honest. Come on, man.
What Hartline, too, though?
Well, Hartline as well. Mike Pettin jinxed him, by the way. He catches everything. And he didn't catch a soul when he was out there the last
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. I mean, he dropped 2 critical third down plays.
Next.
All right, the million-dollar question. Who are you starting at quarterback this Sunday?
Let's see. Light it up. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I go first?
Yes.
Josh. Easy. Put Josh in there. He can see over the line. He can make the throws all over the field. He can get outside the pocket and give you time as well. Johnny can only get outside the pocket. He can't stay in the pocket. If you see Mike Pettin, he's saying it for a reason. We need a quarterback that's going to stay in the pocket. We need a quarterback to stay in the pocket, be able to step up in the pocket and get the ball downfield. Let the receivers do what they're getting paid for, to catch the ball and run and get yardage, not the quarterback. Quarterbacks are not supposed to do that. They're supposed to get rid of the ball and make sure we can make plays happen.
Kenny.
If he's healthy, I'm starting Josh McCown because he gives you the best chance to win, especially with Big Ben out and not playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Who do I want to see? I want to see Manziel, to see him play for a second consecutive week, getting the reps in practice for a second consecutive week, and see what he can do for the future. I'm looking at it from this. Mike Pettin's looking at it from the standpoint he wants to win now because he thinks if he wins 4 or 5 games for the season, he can keep his job, and maybe he can. But I'm looking at it from the standpoint of I'm evaluating talent for the future to see what I have and what I don't have. So that's how I'm viewing this, and that's why I say if I'm Pet and I start Mccown if he's healthy because I want to save my job. But Ray Farmer wants to see Johnny Manziel play.
I think, first of all, I don't think McCown's going to be healthy. I don't think he's going to be healthy enough to play again this week. I mean, the guy couldn't sleep last week because his ribs were so messed up. He's a mess. And to be honest with you, I want to see Josh McCown on this team next year because whether Manziel's here, if Manziel's here and it's a situation for McCown to be the backup, great. If they have to go out and draft a quarterback next year, I want McCown to be here to kind of help him along the way, which would be another situation.
Right.
The one thing I will never, ever, ever, ever question about Josh McCown moving forward is how tough he is. That guy will give you everything he possibly has, no matter how old he is, no matter what it takes, even going flying head first in the Jets game where he got crushed because people said, well, he should have taken a dive there when he was trying to get into the end zone. And the other reason I want to see Manziel play, not only because I want to know what's going to happen in the draft, if Manziel turns out to be something, I want him to get experience in Pittsburgh. I want him to be able to go into these other AFC North venues and have the opportunity to not worry about where the bathroom is or to not worry about what do I need to do to get ready for a game here, or to know what Steeler fans are like, to know what that's like. I think that's valuable experience for him if he is going to be the quarterback going down the road. Is that worthwhile or not?
It is. He's going to be scared up there in Pittsburgh, though. Those fans are going to scare the hell out of him. And then when you go to Baltimore as well, I mean, you got some crazy fans in different places. And, I mean, if they don't like you, they don't like you.
Where's the scariest place you ever played?
I say that one, when we went 16-0 and we was in Baltimore, man, they fans was going nuts. I mean, after Bart Scott got in trouble and going all crazy, they fans was acting the same way and they was drunk. They was throwing beer and stuff at my cousins and, oh yeah, they were about to get into fights and we had to go outside. We went outside in the back behind the stadium. People were calling us all out our names. You MFers, I'm gonna kill you. So, you know me, I'm down for whatever.
Yeah, I know, but you got to keep your job.
Last question for you guys.
Sure.
Is it crazy for fans to cheer for the Browns to lose now that they're thinking that they're probably not going to make the playoffs and they want a high draft pick?
I don't ever cheer for losing.
Man,
It worked for the Cavaliers with LeBron James, didn't it? And Andrew Wiggins, we called it another ping pong ball in the hopper. If you're the only way you're going to get better is if you have a high draft pick. Having said that, Pierre, I see you shaking your head. Having said that, if this same front office is in place, doesn't matter where they end up in the draft, they're going to screw it up. So for me, I clean house, I blow it up, I start it all over again. I'm bringing in a new general manager. I'm bringing in a new head coach, O coordinator, D coordinator. I'm finding the best of the best that's out there. And I'm bringing somebody in that can pick talent because Ray Farmer obviously can't. So while you'd like to have that high draft pick, it doesn't matter.
Listen, the one thing is don't forget the Cavs almost screwed that up. Remember they won the last day of the season, and then we needed a coin flip to get LeBron, right?
Oh, yeah, they split with the Denver Nuggets.
Oh, it was Denver.
They ended up tied with the same record as the Denver Nuggets, and they split the percentage and got the one extra ping pong ball, which maybe – but then again, come on, David Stern wasn't going to let LeBron go anywhere else.
And then my other mantra for the rest of the season, I got to make sure I say it, WWPD. That's my mantra for the rest of the year. What would Peyton do? When Peyton Manning's here next year running the organization,
Man,
WWPD.
Stop it. Listen, Peyton Manning's going to play another year in Denver, man. He's going to play another year.
Why? Why should he play another year in Denver?
You know
Let
what?
it go.
He's old.
You're right, he's old, but as long as if he feel like he can keep playing, he can throw, he can get the ball out there, he's going to do it. And plus, they're still unbeaten, right?
Yeah, let's do.
No, they lost last night.
They did.
Yeah, they're done.
Oh well,
Season's over.
No, the season ain't over for them.
Season's over.
Oh,
They can't beat your Patriots. Come on, as long as Tom Brady plays, you know Peyton ain't beating Tom Brady. Peyton Manning may be one of the most overrated quarterbacks in the history of the game. Consider if you go win-loss and count Super Bowls and big-time performances in playoff games, he may be one of the most overrated quarterbacks out there. Numbers look great. I'll take Tom Brady over Peyton Manning 10 times out of 10.
Will he be a good director of football operations? President of football operations?
You know who I would say? If once everything is done, let's go get Tom Brady. I'll have him come and evaluate some doggone talent. We can get Willie McGinnis back up in here. I'm telling you.
Oh, my God.
Last time Willie was here, it didn't work real well.
I'm talking about evaluating talent. I ain't talking about playing.
Oh, God.
Hey, man,
he has already stolen so much money from this organization. He's bringing Willie McGinnis back.
Hey, while we're at it, why don't we bring Mike Holmgren back?
Hell no. Excuse my man. Boy,
you can say whatever you want.
You can say what you want. It's Dogs on the Run. Andy wants you to swear.
I'm watching myself, man. I went to church, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to do right. Hell to the no. That guy's funny over there, man.
Yeah,
He
he
got
thinks
hella
he's
jokes.
funny.
Hey.
Kenny, plugs. I want to go home. I got to go radio
Okay, real
show.
quick, here's what I do.
Yeah,
I
go.
said this on my show. If I'm Jimmy Haslam, I bring in somebody right now that has no ties to the Cleveland Browns, that has built franchises before, that either A, went to the Super Bowl, or B, won a Super Bowl. I bring them in. I said, look, evaluate my entire organization, from my president, Alex Shiner, all the way down to the 53rd man on the roster, and give me an answer on what you like, what you don't like, and have somebody that doesn't want a job from Jimmy Haslam. And that's a Bill Polian type, somebody like that. Bring him in. Consultant, evaluate the team, and then make decisions based off of that. That's what I would do if I'm Jimmy Haslam at this point. As far as me, I've got my show Monday through Friday, WHBC in Canton, 1480 AM. You can download the app at the iTunes App Store and everything along those lines. We'll be talking Browns, of course, unfortunately. We'll talk a lot of Ohio State. Hopefully JT Barrett will be back this week. He learned his lesson. And, of course, we'll talk Cavaliers. LeBron and the fellas outstanding yesterday, getting the job done. And, we have some positive things to talk about in the state of Ohio when it comes to sports. It's the Cavaliers. It's the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Kenny, thank you very much. The Browns are worth, I think, $500 million more than when Jimmy bought the team. I don't think Alex Shiner has anything to do with football ops anymore. Nothing. I don't think he has anything.
Let's hope not, because if he thinks he can add some insight, he's out of his mind. He made Jimmy money. His job is probably safe, but don't try and meddle with the football side of things.
All right, Kenny. We'll see you later. Pierre, what do you got?
Floyd Reese.
Floyd Reese.
No
Bill
ties.
Polian was another name that was coming up.
Yeah,
the other
Bill
day.
Polian, Floyd Reese.
All right. Eric, the referee, you got anything? You want to plug anything? Any of your big shows coming up? Good morning, Cleveland.
Monday through Friday, 4:37.
Thank you. We're done. I'll see you on the radio a little bit later. Then I'll see you, of course, here on News Channel 5 throughout the week. Scarlet Saturday coming up on Saturday with Matt Wilhelm. All kinds of high school football coverage as well.
You look
on
sharp
Friday
on
and
that,
Saturday.
too, by the way.
On what?
On Scarlet Saturday.
Did you watch the late show or the early show?
The early one. I didn't see the late one.
Oh, you saw? We do that same studio right here.
Well,
It's the Scarlet Saturday studio. Can you be all right sitting on the Scarlet Saturday
yeah,
set?
I had no problem.
All right, Pierre, I just want to make sure. Yeah. That's it. Thanks for watching. And if you're watching the repeat of this, the podcast on Newsnet 5, don't forget we are live every Monday at 7:30. Take care. That's Dawgs on the Run.